and progress can only be accelerated when we have in place functional and sustainable urban communities through inclusive and pragmatic planning. In this regard, we are collaborating with several development partners, including the United Nations Human Settlement Program, the UN Habitat, the World Bank, the Cities Alliance, DFID, in promoting socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities, and providing decent and affordable housing for all Nigerians. We intend to leverage on the increased financial and technical support from these agencies to address the pertinent issues of urban legislation, land and governance, urban planning and design, urban economy, urban basic services, housing and slum upgrading, risk reduction and rehabilitation, poverty alleviation programs, and research and capacity development, which are all very instrumental to the effective implementation of the Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company. Let me assure all Nigerians that with the continued guidance of Mr. President and his inspirational leadership, the requisite enabling environment for the gradual but steady delivery of decent and affordable housing and sustainable urbanization is being increasingly provided for us to harness the potentialities of the housing and urban development sector for accelerated national transformation. I am therefore optimistic that before long, the visible impact of this wonderful initiative and others in progress will be felt by all and sundry across the country. It is also gratifying to note that Mr. President's kind permission, I shall be signing an agreement for the establishment of a regional office for Shelter Africa in Abuja, Nigeria, on this occasion. It is our expectation that the establishment of the office will bring the services of Shelter Africa closer to the Nigerian people. We expect that in the years ahead, more offices of the company will be established in other parts of the country in order to provide ample opportunities for state and local governments, as well as other key stakeholders in the human settlement sector, to drive maximum benefit from the operations of the company. We believe that it is also a veritable way for all stakeholders to continue to complement us in our concerted efforts to significantly reduce the housing deficit and promote sustainable urbanization in the country. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, once again, I respectfully congratulate Mr. President on this wonderful initiative. I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker has the same philosophy about housing finance and the importance of housing as this man, Daniel Quinn, when he says, "I'll be homeless into places we find suitable, but help them survive in places they find suitable." He has been a banker for close to 3 decades, but his love remains mortgage banking. No wonder he is the president of the Mortgage Banking Association of Nigeria, the MD Chief Executive of Home-Based Mortgage Bank. Please welcome Mr. Femi Johnson.
Your Excellency, the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Architect Namadi Sambo, GCON, the Coordinating Minister for the Economy and Honorable Minister of Finance, Dr. Okonjo-Iweala, CFR, Supervising Minister for Land, Housing and Urban Development, Architect Musa Mohammed Sada, distinguished ministers, excellencies, senators, honorables, guests, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure on this historic occasion to again welcome you all to the official launch of the Nigeria Mortgage Refinance Company, NMRC. This event is a culmination of enormous collective effort which began a few years ago and has since enjoyed tremendous financial, technical and moral support from the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Coordinating Minister for the Economy and Honorable Minister of Finance, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the World Bank and other international finance institutions, as well as other industry stakeholders such as the Mortgage Banking Association of Nigeria, MBAN. This launch marks a wholesale shift in mortgage funding in Nigeria from depository savings towards long-term sources of funds derivable from the capital market. It marks an important milestone in the facilitation of access to long-term finance for the housing sector, which is necessary for the provision of affordable housing to our people. It is a proclamation of the political will of the federal government to develop the housing and housing finance sector in Nigeria. This is a giant leap in the right direction for us and will help set the tone for further development in the sector in the near future. I seize this opportunity on behalf of MBAN and all mortgage banks to express our profound appreciation to the President for his unwavering commitment and support for this vision. Sincere appreciation and commendation also goes to Coordinating Minister for the Economy and Honorable Minister of Finance for our ardent commitment and insightful contributions and for taking the lead in this important area of national endeavor. We also appreciate the contributions of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the World Bank, and all international finance institutions that have lent their support in terms of finance and expertise to ensure the successful takeoff of NMRC. Our appreciation also goes to every institution, corporate body, and individual who have contributed their quota to get NMRC to this strategic point. Housing delivery in Nigeria remains crucial, and a well-functioning housing finance system is imperative for a prosperous economy. It indeed plays an important role in stimulating economic growth and creating much-needed jobs within an economy. The inadequacies of our current housing finance system are painfully visible today. A chronic shortage of affordable housing currently intensifies the plight of the poor in all our major cities. Housing finance has remained relatively expensive and often rationed. Access to mortgage finance in Nigeria has remained a preserve of those who enjoy high streams of income. This has locked out a sizable portion of our population from benefiting from formal housing finance initiatives, and the victims of this current tight mortgage credit environment are the lower to middle income families. Ensuring the necessary investment to meet the housing finance and delivery challenges will depend on our ability to mobilize adequate long-term finance, and today, progress in ensuring this is being made. The creation of NMRC to link housing finance to the capital market as a major priority in order to mobilize the much-needed long-term funds is a huge relief. This successful take-up of NMRC will make access to affordable housing a reality for the majority of Nigerians. NMRC will provide the opportunity for rebuilding our housing finance system into a stronger, more competitive, and more resilient one that is at par with the systems in developed economies and some other emerging economies where housing finance is thriving. It will convert latent demand for houses into effective demand. NMRC will bring long-term funding to mortgage originators by issuing high-quality corporate bonds for investments by institutional investors like the pension fund administrators. In addition, NMRC will be the focal point for change by eliminating current impediments to mortgage lending. It will eliminate inefficiencies in pricing credit, interest rate risk, and liquidity premiums. NMRC will rationalize pricing mechanisms through its developmental efforts and lower the cost of mortgage loans, thus stimulating the supply of affordable housing in Nigeria. It will help to reduce interest rates, which up to now have been high and stifling. It will guarantee liquidity for mortgage banks and ultimately provide financial stability to them. And it will help strengthen the legal and regulatory environment surrounding housing finance, especially in the area of reduction in cost and time of title transfers on mortgage and housing transactions. It will also help to ensure the standardization of mortgage instruments, documentations, and underwriting along global best practices. The resultant effect for mortgage banks is that more mortgages will be available at significantly reduced interest rates and tenures of up to 20 years. This will foster economic growth, attract more foreign capital into our economy, and provide more employment opportunities. For the Nigerian populace, this ultimately will translate to increased home ownership, more economic development, and better living conditions. Launching NMRC, therefore, shows the government's unwavering commitment towards providing financial accessibility for home ownership to all categories of Nigerians. We've come so far, yet much still needs to be done to build a efficient housing finance system that will adequately cater for the housing needs of all categories of Nigerians. I, however, suggest that this launch of NMRC should not be viewed as an end in itself, Rather, we are laying a solid foundation upon which we will continue to build. And